Sausage.
Hello, everyone. This is Attack the Backlog, the podcast where I, Mark Kuznez, tries to make a dent in their backlog one game at a time. This episode is all about Cruis'n Blast, the latest game in the Cruis'n series of arcade racers. And by latest, I mean, I don't know, it's over 5 years old at this point. I'm not entirely sure. But after getting my Switch 2, which was preventing me, not really preventing me, but I was holding back from playing any game on Switch 1 for years. It's been a while. I said to myself, I'm just I'm just gonna wait for the next Switch where all these games are going to be performing much better on the hardware. I don't think that was the case with Cruis'n Blast. I'm sure that ran just fine on Switch 1 because it is not the most visually impressive game. From a set piece spectacle standpoint, it is very high quality. However, from a pure fidelity standpoint, the actual graphics and how detailed they are, it's an older looking game, but that's not a problem when it runs smoothly and is throwing so many explosions and dinosaurs and whatnot at you that you really wouldn't be able to tell how good anything looks given how fast you're going through the levels and how much is happening in them. Though I wouldn't be mad about some prettier visuals. That said, though, I had a blast with Cruis'n Blast while it lasted because it is a relatively short experience. It does fit that arcade moniker. It is very true to its roots, which is both good and bad. So the good of Cruis'n Blast is that it is a very fun time overall, and it is exciting. There's a lot of spectacle to the levels. The set pieces they've created are very fun to drive through. It is reminiscent of a stuntman game or split second, but no agency on your part. It's just the shit's gonna happen as it happens. But it's exciting. However, while there are many levels to the game, I think there were 6 or so cups, either 6 or 8 cups comprised of 4 levels apiece, 4 races apiece. I am pretty sure I didn't take notes to make sure, but I could at least notice that they were reusing assets as well, but they were reusing the structure of a certain level that might be in prehistoric times, and now it's in a more deserted times or a city space or whatnot, where you would have the same track layout and you would do this big jump and you'd break through the ground. And in one level, it would be ice you're breaking through, and another level, it'd be some tree branches or some other stuff like that. So that repetition was noticeable and was a bit disappointing. And then it's a weird game to talk about because it is so light on content and it is so short. And once you've played through it, there isn't much reason to keep playing. You can go for better times. You can go for better runs in the cups if you don't win all your races and get gold cups in the end. You can go for that. There are harder difficulties. There are, I believe, a classic arcade mode, which is just. There was one mode where it's just here. You can do the races individually instead of doing them in cup form. And I think the arcade mode was maybe that, or it was just the cup mode again, but slightly different. There are additional modes. They're not that different. And that's kind of the problem with the game in general is that There are things there, or there's the illusion of content there, but in reality, it's just the same thing over and over and over again. There's online play, online is dead. So unless you have friends, online is dead. But the problem I find with the game is that while it is a racing game, it is again an arcade racer and it holds a little too true to that formula in the sense that you're not really racing against these other cars. Not really. You are trying to find the best and fastest line in these tracks and the other racers and oncoming traffic and any kind of obstacles, parts of the environment, the set piece aspect of them, things that explode, things that do this and that and whatnot. You're just trying to find the best line through that, through drifting and boost pads on the ground and your own boosting. When you choose to boost, you can purchase additional boosts that are consumables. You have, I believe, 3 boosts per race that are just standard, and you can purchase additional ones that will obviously help you out in the race, but you have to pay for them, and that's fine. You earn money easily, and the only other use for money is to purchase additional vehicles once you've done all that, and also upgrades, but once you've done all that, you're good. But the races aren't really races. You're not racing against the cars. And I say that because it is very clear that the races are structured in such a way and designed in such a way that you can't get into the lead until you get near the end of a race. The AI, there is incredibly strong, it's not rubber banding, but just it is designed in a way so that your placement is reflective of where you are in the current race and how close you are to the end. And if you're halfway through, you'll probably be in the middle of the pack. When you start to get close to about 75% done, you'll start moving towards the front. And this is all designed to make the races exciting, I'm presuming, so that every finish is going to be a photo finish. And I can understand that sentiment and wanting to do it that way, but it makes it so that in reality, while there is all this spectacle and so much going on that makes the races feel exciting, in terms of your actual placement, it comes down to those last bits of a race. And you might say, well, that's always the case. Except in most other races, you're not you're not being held back on purpose. You can get ahead of the pack, you can get in first place earlier on, and the excitement comes in holding that position and preventing somebody else from getting by you, whether it be through mistakes on your part or very good driving on the other driver's part, using drafting and whatnot. But in this case, it's just you can't get in first place until the very end so that you can have a fun, exciting photo finish. And what that means is just make sure you save at least one boost for the end of a race because it'll be beneficial for you to do such. On the normal difficulty, I didn't find it too challenging. There were a handful of courses where it felt like the way they were designed with specific turns and obstacles that they were trickier to not screw up in some way, whether it be running into oncoming traffic. And there are instances where the AI can just do something stupid that screws you over, and guess what? You have to restart. But that is that arcade sentiment, and that was a little bit frustrating. But ultimately, what I think is Cruis'n Blast's biggest downfall is its price. It goes on sale regularly-ish, probably. It's been a while since I've checked, but I know I purchased it on sale, and if you don't do that, its regular price is $40. And $40 is a lot for an arcade racer with just your traditional arcade type of structure, and that's it. Again, there were a few more additional modes. I think there might have been a time trial type thing or something, and classic arcade. Obviously, the other modes were so similar to the main mode that I didn't find much reason to engage with them. And one of them was just here. You can do the individual races on their own and not have to if you're trying to get all of the coins or whatever they are, because each race, each track has 3 coins or some kind of collectible on them that you can use as currency to purchase additional vehicles. And they try and have some fun with the additional vehicles as well. They have your basic cars and all that, but you can unlock with the special collectible currency stuff like an attack chopper, a triceratops, I believe is the dinosaur you can drive as. Is there a boat or something, maybe a hovercraft, and other ones as well. I think there was a unicorn, and that may sound fun and silly and whatnot. However, in reality, they're not fun to drive because they don't have wheels. And so they feel when you are using those specific vehicles, those special vehicles, it feels more like you have an invisible hand of a child who is just gliding these things on the track as if they were playing with their toys. And that provides a disconnect between you and your vehicle and the track so that it doesn't exactly feel like you are part of this race or part of the track. It just feels like you're kind of glitching out. For others, for some, for you, it may not be that weird, but for me, I had no fun using any of the special vehicles because of that, whether it be a helicopter, a dinosaur, or a hovercraft, a unicorn, or anything. So I'm realizing now I may be a little bit more down on the game than I thought I was, just because while it is fun to look at and it is relatively fun to play, even though it is clearly very, very, very designed to not be the whole way the AI works in that you can't get in first until the end. It just makes it so that you don't feel like you're really that in control of anything. And you are partaking in this fun amusement park ride, and that's what they feel like. They feel like very fun amusement park rides where you're seeing all this spectacle and all this crazy shit happening, and it's fun while you're doing it. But then when it's over, you don't feel like you had some great sense of I don't feel a sense of accomplishment when I win a race. I'm just like, yeah, well, I managed to save my boost and be in the right place at the right time at the very end. I didn't make any hiccups. I didn't make any mistakes, so I was able to finish first, but I don't feel like I beat my opponents. I felt like I guess I beat the game and its way of working. So, yeah, it's fun, but also isn't. I don't It's a weird game to try and describe because I enjoyed it in the moment, but thinking back on it now, a few days removed, I don't have any strong desire to ever play it again, to return to it. There's nothing new to do in it, for instance. I think I got gold on everything, and even if I didn't, I don't really care. There are, I think, a few additional vehicles to unlock, but it's not a driving force for me. So yeah, Cruis'n Blast is a blast while it lasts, and then it's just kind of all right. Let's move on. So yeah, weird. This did not go in the direction I thought it was going to go. I didn't really know what I was going to say about the game, but ultimately it's just very light on content, and I think what's important to know more than anything is that yeah, it's visually very fun to look at, and it captures that arcade vibe very, very, very well. But that is also it's negative, and for certain people, the whole aspect of it not really being a race and the AI working the way it does will turn certain people off. So it's important to know that going in. But it runs well, and there's fun to be had there. It just isn't $40 worth. Hey there, I just wanted to chime in with an update on the price because I talked about it being $40, and of course, that is what I remember it launching at, and that is what it launched at. However, it is now $30 on the eShop digitally, or it seems to be regularly $20 physically. So if you're a physical person, you can get it for 20, or you can get it for 30 digitally. And I do believe it's gone on sale digitally at times for $10, maybe. So for that price, for $10 or even $20, you could have a good amount of time with it. But I think even at $30, it is a bit of a hard sell given how little content is there and how recycled a lot of it is. So I just wanted to clarify that so that you didn't come in the comments and go, oh, it's not $40 anymore. All right. All right. I'm old. I'm old. Speaking of 40, I'm almost 40. So let us just be kind to the old person. All right. All right. Back to the regular episode. Yeah, that'll do it for this here episode of Attack the Backlog. Once again, I am Mark Krishnez. Y'all can find me pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. If you enjoy this here show or any of the stuff I do and what have you, you can support me and my nonsense over at patreon.com/PXS. There you can get access to a monthly Q&A, a private Discord channel, along with some fancy Discord roles, and the random drop on the Patreon here or there depending on your tier. Or you could just support me to support me if that is your fancy. That is again patreon.com/PXS. In addition to the Patreon, you can find links to the site, the YouTube, the Discord, and so much more over at pxsausage.com. That is the letter P, the letter X, sausage.com. That is it. That is all. As always, thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoyed this here episode, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. But for now, adios, arrivederci. Bye.